Well, hello, everybody. We're so glad to have you here with us tonight. Welcome to the Infinite Possibilities Masterclass, our foundational teachings. Deb and I are delighted to have 75 minutes with you tonight. Thanks for investing your time in joining us tonight. As humans, we invest our resources in so many different ways: money, energy, space, love, time. As a father of a 4-year-old and an entrepreneur, time is usually my most valuable and oftentimes my most scarce resource. So we're just exceedingly grateful. Deb, isn't it great to be here tonight?
I am so excited, and I also am so excited about this opportunity and so grateful.
Yeah. So whether you're with us here live tonight, many of you are, whether you registered and you're going to be watching this on replay, like many people are, we're excited to see so many old friends here tonight. We're excited to make some new friends tonight. And over the next 75 minutes, I'm sure we're going to do both of those things. We're going to tell you a little bit in a few minutes about how our life paths crossed 8 years ago. But before we do that, for those of you who don't know us personally or only know one of us, I thought we'd take just a minute here to briefly introduce ourselves. Do you want to go first, Deb?
Sure, I'd love to. So I'm Deb Frischmon, and I'm delighted to meet anyone who is on the call who I haven't met yet. And a little bit about me: I discovered this personal transformational work about 12 years ago, and I've been on the path ever since. And I've been teaching it for the last 10 years. And how do I do that? I teach online, I teach in person, I lead groups, I lead retreats, I lead masterminds, I coach, I teach yoga. And one of the things I love to do the most is I do numerology for people just for fun. And I also do appointments for people as well, but I typically do it for fun. So I do a lot of fun things. Oh, and Reiki. I'm also a healer, and I love to do healing sessions with others.
Yeah, I love Deb's diversity and the many modalities she's involved in. She is a master of all of them. So my name's Jim Herbert. I've been on this path of mindfulness for about 30 years now. I started in martial arts about 30 years ago. That led me to the path of yoga. And I've studied and taught yoga for over 25 years now, which has given me the opportunity to do my own work and then start sharing the work of meditation and mindfulness with others. About 10 years ago, that led me to the path of doing some one-on-one work, doing some more official coaching work, if you will. And I used to work in the matrix, as I often say, and I did about 80% of my work in the matrix out in the regular world, and then 10 to 20% in this side gig. And as of March of 2020, I just started to flip that. And now I'm 90% doing coaching and teaching and 10% in the matrix. People work with me one-on-one and in groups for one of three primary reasons: either for individual mindfulness training to develop their own practice, for mindset coaching, or for spiritual advice. And that's a big part of my practice as well. So this is the first opportunity for Deb and I to come and officially work together in this forum now, although we've done many programs in the past together. And we're going to tell you a little bit about more of that history in just a couple of minutes. But like I said, before we do that, we want to pause and we want to release everything that we might have carried into the container with us tonight and leave ourselves unencumbered to really just receive what we're going to talk about today. So Deb's going to take us through a real brief guided grounding breath work and meditation exercise. I'm going to turn it back over to you to take us through that, Deb.
Okay, so this is very brief, 1 minute, maybe two at the most. Wherever you are, if you're not driving, go ahead and close your eyes and relax your body. If you can, put your feet on the floor. If you have them crossed, that's fine. Or if you're lying down, that's fine as well. And if your feet are on the floor, just spread your toes, ground in by touching the earth with your feet. Good. And now relax your shoulders even more. Relax your mind. And then when you're ready, we're going to take a deep breath. We're going to connect on the breath. So breathe into the heart. Hold your breath if you can. And then if you want, exhale side out. Let go of your day. A lot of you were rushing to get here. Just let it all go. Good. And then another deep breath into the heart. Drop into the heart with your breath. Breathe in deep. Softening the heart. Hold your breath. And then exhale, release, let go of tension, let go of any fear that you might feel. If you have any resistance, release that as well. Beautiful. And then we'll take one more last deep breath in, breathing in deep, slowly through your nose, slowly filling up your lower belly. Expand your lower belly and hold it. And then exhale, slow release. Let go. Beautiful. And then with your eyes closed, you can silently repeat in your head, if you feel called, my heart is open. So you're setting the intention for tonight. My heart is open. I'm ready to shift. I'm ready for changes in my life. I'm ready to take my life to the next level. I'm ready for more peace, peace in the mind, peace in my heart, contentment, joy, freedom, love, abundance. I am worthy. Good. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes, take your time, come on back with that lovely intention.
Thanks very much, Deb. That's a great way to get things rolling here. Thanks to all of you for stepping in and leading your energy into this collective groundedness that we're all going to get to share in now. So now we can officially welcome you to a world of infinite possibilities. And we know that you're going to want more after tonight and after watching this video later. And rest assured, we'll have it for you. This program tonight, this masterclass, is an introduction to the teachings that we're going to be offering this fall in a 6-week course, which will start on September 13th and run for six Tuesday nights in a row with 1 week break in the middle. We'll tell you more about that in a little bit. So we're super excited about that course. Tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to introduce you to the key aspects of what we come to refer to as our foundational teachings. So let's talk for a minute about that, Deb, like how we got involved and wound up with Mike Dooley in his program. Why don't you lead us into a little bit about your first time at an IP conference and what got you there?
Okay, sure. So I met Jim in 2014 in Chicago at an Infinite Possibility conference. And we met there because we were attending this conference so we could learn to teach these principles, these foundational teachings. And do you want to talk about the story, how we met? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, why don't we do that now since we're there? This seems
okay. Yeah, so I feel like the way we met is super serendipity. If you want more details, we talked in detail about this on our podcast that Jim and I have started called It's About Life. And we met the first night. I was at the back table. I'm super an observer in new situations. So I backed to the back table in this huge auditorium in this huge room, and everyone's running around getting signatures. It's like a bingo, and find someone who has traveled all around the world, find someone who, and then Jim came looking for me because I'll let you finish the story.
So someone told me that there was a grandmother who taught yoga in the room. And you had 25 lines you had to fill out. And one of them, write in the name of somebody who's a grandma and write in the name of somebody who's a yoga teacher. And I was like, well, I can get 2 here. So as I walked up to the table, I was like, which one are you? And she said, I'm the grandma that teaches yoga. And I was like, there's no way. So this was sort of the introduction. But at the same time, we sort of looked at each other, and there was this, some people call it deja vu. Deb and I probably refer to it more as like this soul connection from a soul family in previous travels, which we'll talk at length about in this program and we talk about in our podcast. And we just sort of knew we traveled the path together before. And that led us to an acquaintance, which then has led us to a friendship, which has led us to, a really strong soul connection. So that was how we kind of got to the conference. What was your why for being at that conference, Deb?
I went to that conference because I having, I was teaching workshops already, and I was having, what was the word I use? I'm blanking.
Imposter syndrome, I think.
Imposter syndrome. I was having imposter syndrome because I was teaching workshops, and I was like, who am I to be teaching these workshops? And so I was looking for something to give me the, the credentials. I'm looking for that certificate so I could have a certificate. So people would be like, oh yeah, she's certified for sure. I'll sign up for her workshops. And honestly, I didn't teach anything really different after that. I mean, I definitely gained all the things we learned from this, but I could have done without it. And so I did it for the confidence and the certification. And then I also did it because I wanted to do it for me. Like, I went to learn these spiritual foundational teachings because I read through what they were, and I'm like, I want to know those more for myself. I want to grow and evolve even more as as an individual first. And so I would experience it while I was there, and then I could go out and teach it to everyone I knew.
Yeah. I would say that my why for being at that first Infinite Possibility certification conference 8 years ago was very similar to Deb's, is that I needed some footing. I had already been doing, obviously, teaching a mindfulness technique and practice and meditation and yoga for almost 2 decades at that point. But I was branching into one-on-one coaching. One of my best friends had stood up at my wedding, which was just a year before that, and in his best man speech sort of made this reference. I'm sure everybody in the room here, Jim is your life coach. When you talk to Jim, you walk away feeling better about your life, better about the problem, or better about both. And that's why I love him. And I was like, wow, that's a really nice thing to say. And I started piecing it together in my head that is what I do. So Mike's work in that IP conference, Mike Dooley's work, gave me, much like Deb, that sort of confidence to go out and hang a shingle, if you will, as a life coach. And from there, we've both transitioned. We see ourselves as guide, mentors, teachers, spiritual teachers. You just keep going through this evolution process of doing what we call the work. It's not my work. It's not Deb's work. It is the work. Everybody gets to do the work, and the work is for everybody. So that's kind of how we wound up at the conference and what some of our whys are. I also want to point out to you, for those of you who are in this program tonight, and those of you who are looking to do the 6-week course, this is not just an entry course. It is a continue course. How many times between the two of us have we done the IP course now, taken it?
Actually gone to do the training?
Yeah, like how many times have we gone through the training or volunteered at the
my gosh, I bet 20 between the two of us, for sure.
Between the two of us 20 times. And
Yeah.
I'm doing another one this September. It starts in September, where I'm going to participate in the conference again. So this is something you come back to, like the Infinite Possibilities program. This is why it's our foundational teaching, because you just keep coming back to it. So we're going to dig into that program in just a little bit. Before we get there, Deb wants to talk a little bit about something that she really has been seeking her whole life, and then how she sort of reframed how she found it. You want to talk about happiness now for a minute, Deb?
Yeah, I do. And before I do that, Jim, I just want to emphasize something that I wanted to say just about the program before we get started. Every time I do this program, Jim, I start to up level every single time. And I'm going to tell you guys this. I've already started the process just by saying yes to teaching this again, and partnering with Jim and having you all show up. All day, magical things have been happening. I mean, serendipity, like, we wanted 50 people to be on this call, and you text me, I think at 20 after 4, and said we got our 50th person. Like, it was just like
registered for the live or the recording. Yep.
Yeah. And it was just so amazing that I'm like, that's the kind of things that's been happening to me all day. Like, things just so I'm in the flow. Everything is just coming my way. And it's because I've said yes to the universe. So I just want to say, you guys, you're in for a treat with these teachings. They are life-changing. They have changed our lives, and they continue to. And I know some people have heard these teachings before, and some of you are new, and I just invite you to take in what resonates with you. Every single one of us is at a different place in our lives when we hear another principle or teaching or whatever. And I'll tell you what, as much as I've taken this IP and how many times I've done it, every single time I grow, every single time I shift and evolve, like every time. And so it's like, I just want to invite you to apply it to what is going on in your life today, who you are today. And so with that, I'm going to continue on to, so I want everyone to find your chat. It's on the bottom of your screen. You can click on chat. And if you would be willing to play a little bit here, I would love for you to type in one word, and the word is going to be, what do you want to get from showing up tonight, from watching these 75 minutes and hanging out with Jim and I tonight? What are you looking for? One word. If you would be willing to play, put it in the chat, and I'd love to see what it is. Encouragement, peace, direction, growth, harmony, knowledge, wealth, joy, inspiration. This is awesome. This is exactly what I would hope it would happen, that we, and we're probably all wanting all of that. And so what I want to start out by talking about, what Jim was referring to, is I often share my story of where I started on my journey when I woke up, and when I became conscious. And that was where I wasn't very happy. I had everything imaginable in life. I had the beautiful family and the home and the job, and we traveled, and I had everything, but I was just not happy. And I didn't have, so I was always seeking this happiness. I was always seeking to be happier. And at that time, I didn't realize that there were many other ways to feel other than, Brene Brown just recently put on HBO this program, and she talks about humans typically have three emotions: happy, sad, or pissed off. Those are the three they know. And where's contentment in there? Where's neutral? Where's all the things? And so before I showed up with you, Jim, 8 years ago, like I was on this hamster wheel of looking for happiness. And I was like, I'll be happy when I'm on vacation. I'll be happy when I'm back home. I'll be happy when my kids are gone. I'll be happy when they're back with me. I'll be happy when a certain person likes me and respects me. I'll be happy when I find somebody else. It's just, so I was constantly searching for this happiness. And I think happiness is kind of a buzzword in a way, because when we really realizes it, it's like we're really looking for is internal peace, internal joy, in contentment with our life. I had everything, and I didn't have that. I didn't have that peace and contentment. And so what I found is we set these conditions that keep us from being happy. Being human, we set conditions. And then even when it happens, how long will it take before we set another intention? And that's something that we want. And so I'm going to tell you this: there's nothing wrong with goals. There's nothing wrong with dreams. There's nothing wrong with any of that, if you can be content in the midst of it, in the journey. It's not about the end result. And so I was on this roller coaster of happy, not happy, happy, not happy. And the reason I bring this up, you guys, is I know you can relate with me. I cannot be the only one who has been through this. And I can still find myself, Jim, when I'm unconscious, when I'm in a low vibe, I will go on that roller coaster, and then I'll become aware and pop off it. So I will just say, the program has literally helped me given me tools to be even more content, even more joy, have that even more inner joy. And I'll just say, I've said this before, and I put it out in my email: we're not wired to be happy. We're not wired to be happy. Our ego is in protection mode all the time to keep us safe. And there's nothing wrong with our ego. I'm just saying we have to cultivate happiness and make, the buzzword happiness. And so that's what this is about. Like I firmly and strongly believe that by taking this foundational class, you will be a different human. You will be able to be on that vacation or not be on that vacation, and be happy regardless.
Absolutely. I agree. So Deb just referenced the email that she put out, and just a matter of reference for you here tonight and watching at home. If you registered for this course, you are on our email list both. Many of you already were, but you've been sort of transposed between the two. So if you want to hear Deb's message, you're already there. If you're from Deb's container, you got emails from me in the last week leading up to this. You'll stay there as long as you want to. What we wanted to do next, though, is we wanted to go ahead and we wanted to, let you hear a little bit from Mike Dooley. So Mike is the founder of this program, Infinite Possibilities. Deb and I certified to teach his program, already being people who knew about the power of our thoughts, but looking for a container to teach it from. We both have great long-term ongoing relationships with the Infinite Possibilities family, but we thought it'd be valuable for you to hear what Mike has to say about this program and what he literally inscribes in the first page of his Infinite Possibilities program workbook. So this is how Mike says it. It's never too early or too late to begin learning the truth about who you are and all that you're capable of doing, being, and having. You needn't explain what led you here today in order to see all of the possibilities for success and happiness that lie before you. By understanding how life really works, that it's beautiful and that you are powerful, the changes you seek to experience will be easier to bring, better than ever before. What you're about to learn is that we are all blessed, and that luck is what happens when true understanding is followed by action. Of course, there will still be challenges and setbacks. These are how we grow and become more than who we were before. But when difficult situations and challenges arise, they always bring hidden gifts. Of all the things you'll learn in this program, you'll find that the most empowering idea of all is that you not only have all the power to change the things you don't like in your life, you also have the responsibility to change them. And while this might seem intimidating at first, it means that the only person who can ever slow you down is you. You'll also come to see that you're constantly loved and guided by a higher supernatural power designed to help you once you decide to start helping yourself. This power will work through you, not for you. All you have to do is start things off with a vision and take baby steps, and then continue stepping even when you're scared and even when you're alone. Even when it seems like you're not making any progress, and even when it feels like you might be moving in reverse. These steps, combined with patience and a better understanding of who you are and how life works, are literally what makes miracles and magic happen, no matter who you are, no matter where you've been, and no matter what you've done in your life so far. Wishing you every happiness and success, Mike Dooley. So this is what this IP Masterclass is about. We're going to talk about the different stages of the program a little bit further, and we're going to introduce the course that we'll be teaching starting September 13th. It'll be 6 75-minute modules offered over a 7-week period via recording or via coming in live and hanging out with us and being in the container and enjoying the vibrations. There's some things that you should know about this program going forward right out of the gate, though. There's some things that we'll be teaching from, a platform we'll be teaching from, and some concepts that are automatically intertwined in this teaching. And the first and probably the most important to me is that we believe, Deb and I and everybody in this sort of area of teaching, is that we are all spiritual beings having a human experience. It doesn't matter what spiritual tradition you bring with you. You don't even have to bring one with you, but we believe we are all spiritual beings. And then secondly, we all believe that thriving is supposed to be our default setting, not surviving. Deb, do you have anything you want to talk about? You have some snippets about the program you want to talk about before we get into the content?
Well, I'll just add to that. That is a quote that I use a lot when I teach about abundance, Jim. We're meant to thrive, not survive, not just survive. And I feel like right now on our planet, people are surviving. Okay. And so this class could not come at a better time for you, for me, for us, for all of us. And I believe that here's the thing, like by me teaching this, by Jim showing up, it's from you, for me, for us. We start to shift, and then you start to shift, and then we start rippling out into the planet. So it's just so beautiful. And I will just say tonight is a snippet, it's going to be like a little taste of what the course will be like. and it's like a tune-up. It's like a plug-in. You're going to leave with a little extra motivation. You're going to feel the vibration of Jim and I. I mean, our vibes together are off the charts. And so when we show up together, it's just a gift. And so this is a tune-up tonight. It's like a plug-in and an energizing energizer. And then the whole, if you decide to sign up for the course, which we hope you do, it starts mid-September. That's an opportunity for you to go deeper with us. This is an opportunity for you to not only listen to the teachings, but to apply it. Like, we're going to have exercises for you to apply. We're going to be working as a group. And then you're going to be integrating it as you go into your life. So tonight you're going to get, you're going to have a remembering. You're going to be like, it's a spark. Like, it's almost like the truth will drop in, which is what it did for me. The truth will drop in. You might have like just a little bit of an openness, like spaciousness, awakening, expanding your consciousness. That's tonight. And then if you want to take it further and literally integrate it into your life and spend the week on one of these, like for instance, the first module, Jim's going to talk about thoughts become things, and you'll have a whole week to integrate that and implement it.
Yeah. So with that, let's talk about thoughts become things for just a minute, which is the foundation of this course. It's the first module that you'll get on September 13th. So, this is such a great concept, and it's taught by many, many teachers through the years, and everybody puts their own signature on it. But at its core, it's the same thing. Thoughts become things. The thoughts that you think literally become the things and the events in your life. Your words and your actions are supremely important because they are the outward expression to the universe, God, your fellow humans, of what your thoughts truly are. And that being said, your words and your actions are just that extension. So it all starts with thought. Siddhartha Gautama, also known as the Buddha to most people, is accredited with one of my favorite quotes of all time. The quote is this: "We are shaped by our thoughts. We become what we think. When the mind is pure, joy follows like a shadow that never leaves." Now imagine that. Imagine spending every moment of your life standing in a shadow of joy. If that really seems unattainable to you, though, I can assure you that the reality of it is merely a few thoughts away at any point. In fact, you've already seen it here tonight. Deb led us from a place where we were all in a whirlwind of coming here with our previous experiences to a place where we were all fully arrived in the moment. And I could feel the energy change in that moment. And this is always possible. It's not that we eliminated our thoughts during that breath work and the meditation, but rather we purified our ability to be one with those thoughts and be fully present in the moment. So once we've accepted that our thoughts become our reality, we become empowered by the sense of knowing that each and every one of us creates our own destiny, our own luck every day. We become empowered in the knowing that life happens for us, not to us. And we just did an entire podcast episode on that topic in the It's About Life podcast. And it happens in the present, not in the past and not in the future. Every day we get to choose what we think. And therefore, we sort of hold the reins of the chariot of our life, if you will, in our hands. And I use that analogy a lot. So you might be sitting there asking some questions right now, though. Like, here's some really sort of questions that dance up in my head when I first started to contemplate this. Well, what about all the thoughts I've had about things that I want that haven't manifested in my life yet? What about the experiences that I have never thought about that happened to me? How did that happen? What about when bad things happen to good people? And those can all be tricky questions. And I can assure you, we will address each and every one of them in our 6-week course. Just to get a better idea of how powerful it can be to heighten the awareness that we are all constantly becoming what we think, I want to pause for a moment and ask each of you to go back to an occasion in your life. It can be an occasion, a time, a situation, whatever, where you put all of your attention and intention into something that you wanted to have happen. So just sit with that for a moment. If it helps you to sit with that with your eyes closed, just do that. You're not going to miss anything. I'm sitting in the same spot when you open your eyes as I'm right now. Maybe it was a thing, a new car, or a home that you were bidding on with other bidders and you just totally wanted that home. Or maybe there was a person that you wanted to have a relationship with. You wanted to have them come into your inner circle, either for romantic purposes or just for wonderful, intimate connection purposes. Maybe it was a hobby that you became obsessed with, or like a social organization that you just couldn't stop going to, something that really lit you up inside. So take yourself back to the moment and think about how it felt inside you to want that thing, that person, that experience. So what was your thing? And if you want to, like Deb did a minute ago, type some things in the chat box. It can be like new car, new home, partner of my dreams, etc. Come up with anything. Give us 1 or 2 words of something that you were thinking about that you wanted to really manifest into your life. And I'll go back and look at those in just a minute. We'll see what we have to say. So here's the thing that I want to ask you in follow up to that, though. What happened? My guess is that nearly every one of you manifested the thing that you put all your attention and intention to. Got car, got relationship. So for me, I mean, there's many times this happened in my life, but I can think about where I'm at right now, sitting at our place in Michigan, this cottage that I'm sitting in right now. So this is our away place, if you will. And I was visiting New Buffalo, Michigan 20 years ago. I'd been here many times in the 10 years previous. And I remember sitting with my friend Peter and saying, man, if I could have a home out here, I would want for nothing else. And he drove me past this dilapidated place. It was called the Spider Shack in my mind back then, because there were so many spider webs covering it. And it was listed for some obscenely low price because it was in awful condition. And I put in a bid on it a little bit below that. And this is long before the real estate crash and the real estate increase and up and down and up and down. And here I sit right now in this beautifully renovated home, walking distance to the beach and the bars and restaurants in downtown New Buffalo. But for that 3-week to 1 month period, that's all I could think about, is how much I wanted this house. And it happened. So it's when we put our intention into these things, they're building blocks that tap into our innate ability to practice visualization as human beings. Whether we call it visualization or not, I got someone just put in my job, my husband, my family, our home, all 4 things manifested. So one of the most important tools we use is this innate visualization process. And in the 6-week program, we're going to share with you a number of different ways you can incorporate visualization into your life. And if you already have a visualization practice, we're going to share with you some of our specialized tools that can help you refine that practice. Because I can assure you, Deb is one of the most powerful manifestors I've ever met in my entire life. So we're super excited to talk to you at greater length about this concept of thoughts become things. Really, it comes down to this. In order to spark change in one's life, it has to come from within. It must exist in thought, and that thought can carry you through anything, regardless of the external circumstances that are presently surrounding you. So that'll be on September 13th. That'll lead us into the second module of the course, which will be on September 20th. And I think Deb now is going to share a little bit about this program, which is about beliefs.
The thing I love about this, Jim, is that you and I will share these modules, and you're going to get such a good flavor from Jim and from me. It's going to be so fun to create it together. So the second module, beliefs, is my favorite thing. And I love it because I'm literally, as I'm preparing for this, I'm having aha after aha after aha. I mean, we are constantly aware of the beliefs. They don't go away. The beliefs that are, I'm talking like the beliefs that get in the way of our dreams, right? And so I love this module. I'm going to ask that you guys just close your eyes for a second and just see how this feels when I read this to you. The world is exactly what you believe it to be. If you think the world is scary, it will be. If you believe others don't like or respect you, they won't. If you believe people are kind and caring, they will be. We create our own individual realities with our thoughts and our beliefs. And so you can open your eyes. And so I'm guessing you felt some resonance with that. I learned a long time ago that if I believe I'm unlovable, the world is going to show me that I'm unlovable. And so it's just a mirror. We live in a reflective world. And something to really understand that I have learned over the years is beliefs are literally just a thought that you think again and again and again. And where do they come from? They come from our families, from society, from our teachers, trauma. Our beliefs come from our trauma. And the other thing is your belief turns into your story. So what I mean by that, like, so if I'm coaching, or Jim, you're coaching someone and they tell a story, like for instance, I tell the story sometimes that I'm shy, that I went to the back of the room because I'm shy. Where did I get that from? I got it from my mom and my family saying, she's so shy, she's so shy. So guess who adopted that belief? I'm shy, so therefore I'm shy. And all my life I thought I was shy, and then I'm not. And so literally, it was a story that I created. If you think that if you get a sniffle and you think you're going to catch a cold, that's a story that you tell yourself, and then you get that sniffle, you tell the story, you're going to get a cold, you think you believe you're going to get a cold, you get a cold. And so beliefs are just thoughts that you think over and over and over. If you have one thought, like Jim was talking about, you're not going to manifest. It's not, it's not one thought. These are like thoughts that come in, a lot over and over. Your beliefs will literally affect the way you live, the way you look, the way you act, the way you speak. I learned from my mentor a couple of years ago, if you're going to make something mean something, have it mean something for your benefit. So if you can be neutral about life, right, and flow through life and just ebb and flow smoothly and not make everything mean something, that's when you're going to have just more peace in the mind and the heart, right? And so your beliefs are going to, if you have limiting beliefs, you're going to probably make it mean, like if someone didn't talk to you, you're going to make it mean that, oh my gosh, she doesn't like me now, or he doesn't like me now. Instead of like, if you're going to make it mean something for your highest value. That person didn't talk to me, maybe they're having a bad day. That's all it is. And so 95%, so they say, of our beliefs aren't even true. And I totally believe that. It takes awareness to be aware of your beliefs. It takes courage to notice them. I've told this story before to people in my classes. I can remember being in my closet getting dressed 3 years ago, and I heard I was getting ready to do a talk like this online, and I heard in my head, it's too bad you started so late. And, it's kind of too late for you, basically you're too old for this. And I was like, I literally was in the middle of teaching about this. And so I was very aware, and I just was like, I asked that voice, I'm like, who says, like, hello, I'm not too old. It's not too late. Like I literally had a country, tell the voice like, no, not true. And so a lot of people call it BS, your belief system. It's BS, right? You've heard that before. One thing that I wanted to say is this is new for me, and I want to express this, that when we're in the program and we're working on our beliefs and we take out our spiritual flashlights and we're literally like shining our lights on the limiting beliefs that are holding us back, right? It's, it's super fun, it's super rewarding. And sometimes when we're doing the work that way, it can be I'll call it very masculine. And so that's like a masculine way to go about your beliefs. We can also come from a feminine way and send love to those beliefs, and and be like, hey, I heard that belief, I could hear it, I could just send it love and send it on its way. Or we can allow the universe to come in, we can lean back. I teach this in my goddess classes, lean back and receive and allow the universe to dismantle these beliefs. We think we have to do it ourselves. Jim and I talked about this on our podcast, where we're human beings trying to take over and do everything and do. I got to force, I got to push. And, we're just like, we're doing it all ourselves, when in fact we can lean back and ask the universe for some guidance and some help, and then do some receiving. So if you feel like doing this in the chat, I would love to know if you're up for it. Um, what what belief are you ready to let go of? Do you know what it is already? Is there a belief that popped up as I've been speaking? What's a belief you want to let go? And if you don't feel comfortable putting it in yet, that's fine. You don't have to participate in the chat. I will just say, I'll end with this. We're gonna, the limiting beliefs in our body causes like distortion and wobbles. So our energy comes in, and if these beliefs that aren't serving us are in our systems, it literally, the energy comes in and it spirals. We don't have this nice flow that comes down and then goes back out, the toric flow, because it hits these lower vibrational energies in our body, and then it causes wobbles. So we're going to work on dismantling those for you. That will spend the week on that. So somebody wrote, let's see, not good enough. Absolutely. We're all working on that. I had to give myself a pep talk before I got on tonight. Not wanted, defeated, not worthy. You need to work hard to have abundance. Amen. I love that. Negativity, not caring about much of anything. Imposter syndrome. Yes, Eric, I get it. I hear you. You can't have what you want, you won't follow through. Yes, these are beautiful, you guys. Thank you so much for being open and vulnerable to share these. This helps the chat go and helps everybody else feel like, gosh, we're all on the same page here. Being indecisive. Awesome. So thank you. Thank you for putting those on.
Thank you, Deb. And so, and I want to reiterate what Deb was talking about. Thank you for sharing. You know, when you come into this type of container, it's a safe zone for you to be vulnerable. There are lots of places in our life where we can't be vulnerable. And in a program like this, there is that space. And when we all learn to become more vulnerable, like the planet heals, right? This is what we're working on. This is why Deb and I have sort of taken, we've basically taken on our responsibilities to fill the role that we're supposed to fulfill in helping the planet heal. So beliefs are super important. And that really leads us right into the topic of emotions, because they're so intertwined, these two topics. And emotions, to me, out of the 6 modules, as we get into module 3 here and give you a taste of it, which will be on September 27th, emotions is the most dense of all the modules. Like, it's intense. It's hard to get it all into that 75 minutes. People walk away from it, you know, like with this huge sort of cathartic sigh, if you will. But the thing that I remind myself of is that emotions are our greatest gifts in life. When you think about it, they provide us the feedback on our life while it's still in progress, and they offer us both caution and encouragement. So when we experience the emotions that we consider to be pleasant, they're like a pat on the back, or they're like a big warm hug from a bestie, right? They offer us confirmation that we're on the right path. When we experience emotions that we consider to be unpleasant, on the other hand, it's often because our thinking is less than ideal, which in turn gives us a chance to reconsider our perspectives. So at their core, our emotions are an extension of our perspectives in life, and our perspectives arise from the beliefs that Deb was just talking about. So for example, if we have a general belief that people are kind, good, loving, and generous, that gives us the perception of trust, and we feel that we can trust the people we're interacting with on a day-to-day basis, and that we live in a safe and giving world. And as a result, we experience the emotions of happiness, and we live in a carefree state. On the other hand, if we believe that people cannot be trusted, that everybody's default setting is to try to take advantage of us at every opportunity, then we will have the perception or the belief system that we are constantly living in the victim cloak, if you will, and that life is not easy. And that we need to be careful all the time. And the corresponding emotion that comes with that is, right, what, everybody? Fear, right? Being scared, getting defensive as a default setting. What's important to remember is that this is all fluid, though. There is no right or perfect way to live in which each and every thought, belief, and emotion can be positive. To do so is not even possible, and it's exhausting to even think about it, for that matter. And the good news is that when we accept that our emotions shape our thoughts, and we already know that our thoughts create a reality, because that's a given, then we get to do a better job of shifting those thoughts and staying out of those downward emotional spirals that pull us into the states of anxiety and depression. It's not like there'll never be a ripple, but that ripple doesn't have to drown you, right? So, what it really comes down to is our ability to change our perceptions, AKA our belief systems over time. And each and every one of you has the ability to change those perceptions. And I can give you an example that can relate to every one of your lives right now. I want you to think of one of the biggest hardships. You don't have to like, oh my God, just think of a hardship in your life. It could be the end of a relationship. Maybe it was a loved one leaving their body, a career ending that you didn't want to see end at the time, a health issue, the health issue of another that is dear to you. Call something to mind that you really felt was like one of those markers, mileposts in your life. That was one of the hardest times in my life. I'm not going to ask you to share this. This is not chat box material. Just kind of sit with it and feel that in yourself. So in the most recent edition of It's About Life, Deb and I were talking about this exact topic, and we each shared something from our past that in that moment definitely felt like a hardship. Deb talked about being pregnant at age 15 and going to high school with a belly and taking a 2-year-old to college with her. And I talked about the passing of my father, and then ensuing the passing of my first major spiritual mentor in my life, a man named Richard Harsh, and how both of those things really were very immense challenges for me. So now that you've had that hardship in your mind, I'm going to ask you to go in and use the tool of hindsight and some perspective here. And what was the hidden gift? What came out of that hardship? Every challenge we face in our life, everything we encounter brings with it gifts that make us more than we were before we faced that challenge. So in our 6-week course, we're going to use the module devoted to emotions to help us unpack and reframe things. I love that term, reframe our perception on something by taking a view of it that we can't see living in the whirlpool of our own life. Reframe things like fear, depression, anger, grief, guilt, shame, so we can use the awakenings that come from those experiences to cultivate spiritual growth and transformation. I love beliefs. I love all of this. And then, of course, once we understand that our thoughts become things, once we accept that our belief systems drive those thoughts, once we acknowledge that we are emotional creatures and we have to learn how to use the antenna to navigate, then we got to do something with that information. So we got to take action. So we're going to take a week off in the middle of the course. And then on October 11th, we're going to go back in and we're going to talk about taking action. And Deb, let's have you tell them a little bit about what that taking action module is going to look like when we get to it.
Awesome. Yeah, I love this module too. I love them all. I love the take action because literally it won't, if you just sit on the couch and journal and watch Super Soul Sunday and eat bonbons. I would say bonbons, like chocolate, and then just manifest and you visualize. You have to. Things aren't going to come. You have to take the action. You have to show the universe, hey, I'm serious. By signing up for this class, you show the universe, hey, I'm ready for more. You probably already getting rewarded. And I don't mean that there's a reward system. That's just figuratively. It's like things start showing up. People call when you wanted them to call or whatever it is. And so I love the phrase Nike, the tennis shoe. Back in the day, I had a blue swipe swoosh and I had the red swoosh, and Nike had it right. Like they said, just do it, right? Just do it. And so I sometimes need to be pushed off the ledge. I'm a little more like, I'll lean back and receive. And I need to sometimes get a little nudge to get off. So that's why I love this, because it really prompts me to also take action. Whether you're dipping your toe in the water, whether you're slowly walking down the steps in a pool, if you can imagine that, like you're walking, some people are very cautiously, I'm going to try something new and I'm going to just walk down slowly. And when I feel safe, I'll take another step of, that's fine. That's fine. Or are you the person that just jumps in the deep end and like builds your wings on the way down kind of person? And you're just going to be like, that's fine too. Whatever it is for you, as long as you're taking action. So we need to take action in order to live our dreams. when we take the action, that's where the magic happens. That's where the universe literally bends over backwards to help you get what you desire, and it helps you, gives you guidance, support, assistance. So the one thing I would just say with this is, like, when we don't have evidence, we are like, I'm done. Like, even like losing weight. For instance, I was just talking to someone today about losing weight. They are so proud. They lost 8 pounds. And I said, at what point was it like, I just want to give up because I'm not seeing anything, And they said, it's so, because they're like, I 8 pounds, now I want to keep going. They got the evidence, but can you keep going even though you don't have the evidence? Can you keep going if you fall down? So we're going to talk about, like, you fall down, you get back up, you keep going. If you're driving down the highway and you get a flat tire, what do? You patch your tire and you keep going. You don't say, I'm done, it's over, I'm never going to be in this car again. And so the other thing I would just say is, with taking action, is drop the perfectionism. Speaking from someone who, in order to be perfect first, I had to be perfect before I would take steps. And so I finally, about 8 years ago, I just had to let that go. And then I also got in the habit of celebrating, like, what does work. So every time something works, I was like, that when Jim texts me, I did a happy dance. Celebrate what's going well and working, and readjust what doesn't. So you readjust what doesn't. You shoot for the moon, you land on the stars. I mean, it's just, if you can just tap into that energy. And that's the type of thing we're going to talk about when we start the course. I don't know what day it is, Jim, but when we're on this module, we'll talk about a life change that you want to do. And then we'll talk about, like, action steps that you can actually take, and we'll hold space for you to be able, and then if you want, we can hold you accountable for that. And we can ask you when we get back the next time, did anybody take their action? And so when we take the action, the universe totally thinks we're serious. And I just would quickly want you to add, if you want, in the chat, if I knew I wouldn't fail, I would blank. If I knew I wouldn't fail, I would. And I will tell you this, Jim and I would probably say this, if I knew I wouldn't fail, I would do a podcast. And here we have it, you're in a podcast and it's super successful. And I just saw 555 on my phone, means that means really good things for me. Change, excitement, abundance, big growth. Sally says work less. She'd work less. Yeah, exactly. If you knew you wouldn't fail, Sally would work less. Work less. Yeah, I love that.
If I knew I wouldn't fail, I'd launch more courses.
Launch more courses.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Where we're at. So that's awesome. And that's a taste of what we're going to do in a taking action module. We're going to move right into the next module, which will be a week later on October 18th. And this is a module that's called Instincts, Hunches, Dreams, and Desires. So I'd imagine most of you out there have heard this term sixth sense. It's more than just a movie. It's this concept of this non-physical sense that we all possess in a container like this. It's pretty likely that most people have a familiarity with the fact that we all are born and have psychic abilities. It's just a matter of how much we tap into it. So I do want to just tap into that for a minute, though, and I want to get you in a place where you have that awareness elevation. This is a phrase I use a lot, an awareness elevation of exactly how much your life is navigated by your instincts, hunches, dreams, and desires. Ask yourself in your own heart and mind these questions. Have you ever had a dream that hinted at something that was going to happen in the future? You ever think of someone that suddenly they appear or they call you or they cross you on the street in your hometown? Do you ever have a bad feeling about someone that proves to be correct? Do you ever have a premonition about something that's going to happen in your life and it actually happens? Have you ever been in a conversation where you knew what the person was going to say next? I'd imagine every single one of you has answered yes to at least one of those questions, if not all of them. So if indeed we are all spiritual beings having a human experience, which we've already agreed to, then it makes sense that we are constantly connected to our higher self. Our higher self is nothing more than our direct conduit to source energy, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. So that higher self is connected to all things in time and space and possesses the wisdom of all ages and all times. The Akashic record. Deb will talk about that at some point, probably in our program. Our material body is the vehicle of our human that carries us through life. Our ethereal and energetic bodies are our aura, or the part that exists on both sides of the veil. Our mental body is what connects us to the universal mind field of time and space and the collective consciousness. And then our spiritual body is the vehicle that our soul travels in. When we live in a state of integration between our four bodies, there can be no other possibility than the fact that we are all powerfully psychic beyond our wildest dreams. So I like to think of hunches, instincts, dreams, and desires as these little bursts of insight that reveal the truth about the reality of all the experiences we're currently co-creating. And that can act as a really powerful internal navigation system to help guide us through our lives. This is an exciting chapter and it's an exciting topic. It can be exciting for all of us. I mean, I can't wait to dig into that topic in the 6-week course and talk more about it. And that really then leads us to the big dreams, the big desires, which is our ability to have faith and believe in magic. Take it away, Deb.
I just love all of these topics, of course, and especially these end ones are my jam. And I know you know that. So this one is having faith. And you know what? Here's the thing. If faith is everything, and when you tap into faith, you can move mountains. It's just it's like what I was mentioning earlier. You're not doing it just as you're human. You're tapping into something bigger than that. And so Mike posed the question. The question is, how can we trust something that we can't entirely grasp or see? The answer is faith. And so I was mentioning earlier that we need proof and evidence. I'll believe it when I see it. A lot of people say that. I'll believe it when I see it, Deb. And I would say, if we change that belief to I'll see it when I believe it. I'll see it when I believe it. That's when the magic happens. And so if we can just believe it, we're going to see it. And so whether or not you've been spiritual, religious, everyone, it doesn't matter. You've been using faith your entire life. I mean, when you wake up in the morning, you literally are like, your heart's still beating. The sun comes up, we have faith in that, and we don't even give it a second thought. And I would say the thing that gets in the way of faith for me personally is when I doubt. And so doubting is something I'll definitely talk about. When we doubt a lot, it takes a long time for things to come our way. We doubt a little, it takes a little time. If we have no doubt, boom, it's there. It's magic, you guys. We can do this. It's so fun to play. And we can play with creating things in our life. And that's initially what we do. And then as you start to expand in consciousness even more, you literally start wanting to manifest for the planet, for all the other humans on the planet. It's not just so individual. And that's it's just a whole nother level, but we have to start somewhere. And so faith is about leaning back and receiving. And when we have doubt, we literally cut off the energy source that comes through. We cut it off. And so that's what we'll be talking about. I'm going to end with this quote. And I just recently had heard this like about a year ago. And I literally put it on a Post-it note on my mirror. It's not faith until it looks like it won't happen and you still believe. So let me say that again. It's not faith if it looks like it's not going to happen and you still believe. So when I'm, let's say, even launching this course, and it's like, if I'm not seeing evidence of it, I'd be, oh, it's not going to happen. Instead, it's like, if it's looking like we're not going to get our 50 people that we really want, we're trying to manifest. I just put that away. I'm like, it's happening. Of course we're getting the 50. Like, there's no doubt about it. And so I still believed it. And then lo and behold, 420, I get this message from Jim, 50 people signed up. So that's where the magic happens.
Absolutely. So faith is the final module, Faith and the Magic Universe. And that kind of leads us into a little add-on with that module. And this is sort of the summary of the program, where we talk about the very simple topic of the meaning of life. And obviously I say that in jest, because when we sit in contemplation of what the meaning of life actually is, it almost always takes us to very esoteric conversations inside our own head and deep thought. But in reality, maybe it's really simpler than we made it out to be. Everything in our life starts as a budding desire, and that desire leads us on some sort of journey. That journey puts us out in what I always call the matrix of life, where we experience things. And one of the things we experience are challenges or roads to trial. Those challenges and working through those challenges will lead us to awakenings, and those awakenings deliver us to a place of contentment, or as Deb said, that happiness that we're always seeking. And that contentment is where you sit until a new desire buds up. So how many, I don't know, I want to see like shows of hands in the reaction box on this one. How many of you out there are familiar with the work of Joseph Campbell, The Hero with 1,000 Faces, and the concept of what the hero's journey is? I just want to get an idea and see. I know some people in the IP Container, people who've worked with me in the Mindsmith Academy in one of my courses. We talk about this at length. So, a half a dozen, 8, 9 now. Perfect, great. So the way I see it, our life is a series of hero's journeys, all going on, playing out concurrently and intersecting with the hero's journeys of other people at all time. And like I said, I talk at length about this. I'm going to do a course about this in the future, just about the hero's journey. But every path we walk on is created by a desire to find more contentment in life. So why are some people more successful than other people then? And of course, I use that term success, and that's a little tricky because one person's label of success can be different than another's label. But as a general rule, those individuals who have achieved some level of mastery or greatness in their own lives, or at home, or in relationships, or out in the matrix, if you will, they share a few common denominators. And those common denominators are vision, belief, and action. We all come in as sparks of the divine. Every single one of us has an infinite number of opportunities and possibilities that exist as our hero's journey is playing out. The only thing that makes any difference is how we think, what we believe, and the actions that we take. So if you could make one wish right now, no matter how big or small it is, and you knew it was going to be granted no matter what would you wish for? Just pause for a moment. Think about that. What would you wish for? If you want to put something in the chat box, feel free, but I'm really less interested. I'm not super interested. I just want you to think about what you would wish for. Because there's one common story. See, the fact that you're even here, living in time and space right now, is because you are unconditionally loved. You are incarnated by love. You radiate love. You are nothing but love. The stories from your past don't matter. None of the external circumstances of your life matter. The only thing that stands between you today and the life that you see of contentment and joy are your thoughts, your words, your actions. In the end, it comes right down to the same thing. And we would all answer that question of what we want the exact same way. And we'll tell you what that answer is when we get to the program. So we're going to talk about the course for a minute. Now, Deb, before I dig into the course, do you have anything you want to say to wrap up about the modules?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Other than it's really hard only to spend 4 minutes on a module. Like I'm literally like, I want to like fast forward it. And I'm like, let's go.
So we get to October 29th, right? We want to get to October 29th and start talking about this.
September 13th.
No, I'm talking about the end though, so
yeah.
This module, if you will. So thank you. Yes. Anybody that's watching this now or at home, it starts in 3 weeks. You don't have to wait that long. I promise you. So we're going to talk a little bit about the course now, just to give you an idea of what this is going to look like. So this program is open for all who are called to the teaching. Deb and I both believe it's our responsibility as humans to be out there and be a container to help people find their path. There are people on this planet that we were meant to reach. With that being said, the standard enrollment fee for this program is $222. This will give you access to all 6 live calls, as well as the recordings of all the calls permanently and infinitely. So if you're unable to attend, it doesn't matter. You can watch the call. You can watch it again and again and again. Those who are interested will also have access to a private Facebook community for ongoing conversation, questions, support in between the live teaching calls. And as I said, if anybody you know is interested in this program or can be served by this program, and it has a financial hardship that prevents them from being able to spend the $222 for the regular standard enrollment fee, please reach out to us and talk to us. We have a limited number of scholarships, limited like partial scholarships available. There has to be an energy transaction. So there has to be something that passes through for it to even work, but we're here to do that. So that's the standard enrollment. We have 3 additional enhancements to the program that we're going to be offering as well, which we're super excited about. So we have what's called the Gold Experience, where you will receive all the benefits of the standard enrollment, plus 2 small circle group coaching sessions with both Deb and I that will be held halfway through the program and at the end. And the dates are in the sign up page. So you can look at the dates for everything in the sign up page, which I'm going to post in the link pretty soon here. And those sessions will be powerful meditative experiences, impactful group conversations, and really transformative healing work. This is limited to 12 people. So the first 12 that sign up on a first come, first serve basis will have an opportunity to be in the Gold Experience, which is going to be $444. The next level is the Platinum Experience, where you'll receive all of the benefits we just mentioned, plus a 90-minute experience with Deb and I together, a private session that can be scheduled at any point during the program at your choice, beginning, middle, end. We'll figure it out. And this program will be customized to include mindset work, program mentorship, spiritual guidance, healing work, or anything else that you're seeking. This Platinum Experience also includes 1 week of Voxer support following your private session, where you can send voice messages to both Deb and I, and we respond back to you. It's like getting a full week of full-on high-frequency coaching from both of us, and that 90-minute live session. That program, the program is available for $777. And then last but not least, of course, we have a Diamond Experience, and the Diamond Experience is all of the benefits of the Gold Experience and the Standard. Plus, instead of a 90-minute session, you get a 4-hour half-day immersion with Deb and I. And this immersion will include high-frequency transformational coaching, a numerology review, ancestor and angel oracle work from me, a spiritual healing session, as well as anything else you want to incorporate to customize this program. It will be held via Zoom, and that is available to a maximum of 3 people, and it will include 2 weeks of follow-up Voxer support from Deb and I, where you can interact with us on a daily basis if you need to. So really, really valuable transformational experience for you. So I am going to right now put in the chat box first opportunity for everybody here to start looking at the lead page to sign up for this event as soon as we end this call. But as I'm doing that, I want to have Deb jump on and just tell everybody a couple other things they need to know about not having to be in the live calls and anything else that comes to your mind that you want to add in right now.
Yeah, I guess I wanted just to say first off that I'm so excited about this, Jim, and I am thrilled to meet new people, see all the faces that were on today, and we're just so grateful, and we really, really are excited and hoping that you guys jump on for this next part. And then Jim, those offers you just rattled off, I'm like, they're amazing. Like, I'm thinking I want one of those. I just feel like it's going to be so much fun. This is just turning out to be so much fun. And then I also want to say, if everyone signs up on this call by September 1st, the 222, the first enrollment, we will send you some goodies. I'm going to be sending an EFT emotional freedom technique tapping session, combination with the meditation and a little chat to prep you for the 6-7 weeks. And Jim is going to be adding.
Yeah, so this is an incentive, as Deb said, for people who are on this call or watching this right after the call. You have 1 week to sign up for any level of the program, but at least for the standard enrollment of $225, you're going to get Deb's customized infinite possibility tapping meditation. And what this is a technique sort of revealed by Nick Ortner, where we work our acupressure points and we affirm ourselves. And then I'm going to add in an infinite possibilities customized yoga nidra recording. So yoga nidra is a big part of my teaching. It is a yogic experience of deep relaxation, and I do it every single day without exception, often multiple times. And I'm going to custom record one specific to setting the framework or the infinite possibilities program and all of the truths and reality about our default setting to thrive and our spiritual experience. And this will only be available. I'm actually going to be teaching this exact same session in the Infinite Possibilities certification program coming up in a month with Mike Dooley. Mike's asked me to teach this in his container, and we're going to give it to you all if you sign up within a week by September 1st. So we talk about all this stuff on our podcast. Many of you have already listened to our podcast. If you haven't, it's the It's About Life podcast. It's available on Apple, Spotify, and many other places out there where you stream podcasts. So please do that. We're happy to stick around and answer any questions you have. Deb, is there anything that we didn't say that we needed to say? Help me remember here.
I think we got it all. I'm really impressed. Our goal was to have you out in your kitchen chopping your vegetables for your salad tonight or whatever at 6:15, and it's 6:13. So we did it. And yeah, I encourage you guys to stick around for questions. We are willing to stay on for 10 more minutes or whatever, just
10
to
more
talk
minutes
to
is
you
good.
guys.
So that is the end of the program for tonight. Thank you for being here for the IP Infinite Possibilities, our foundational teaching 75-minute free masterclass. Thanks from both of us, from our hearts to yours, and have a great night if you're signing off. And if you have any questions, just raise your hand in the reaction box and we'll go through and we'll call on you one at a time. Questions about the program or whatever, you know, it comes to your mind. Anybody got anything out there? Hey, maybe, oh, we've got Diane. Perfect. So let me bring you up on the screen here, Diane, with Deb and I, so we can have a little visit, the three of us. Hi, Diane.
Hi. It's real simple. For your last enhancement, you didn't say how much that was.
The last enhancement. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. So that's $1,111 for the 4-hour half-day immersive experience with Deb and Jim, the small group coaching circles as part of the Gold experience, and the entire program.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Diane. Anybody else have a hand to raise, a question to ask before we all go chop our vegetables? Tammy, thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. Thanks to all of you at home who took the time to watch this afterwards. Please, you know how to reach us, contact us with questions, sign up. I've got it in the chat box. Make sure you go copy it now. Of course, we're going to be posting it on our websites and on our pages, but you could be the first person or one of the first 5 to sign up if you copy it right now, because it won't be live till tomorrow. So, all right. Thanks, everyone. We love you all.
Oh, thank you guys. I love all these comments. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Have a good night.